Hey everybody, welcome back. I know it's been a long time since I've made a big long video like this, and if you've been watching my YouTube short videos, you already know the big announcement. Yes, it's true. I'm pregnant and I have more to share on that. We've just had a lot going on, some surprises, lots that's going to be changing in the next couple of months. So I can't wait to fill you in on all of that, and I really can't wait to talk about what it has been like to be pregnant after having weight loss surgery, what it has been like to lose over 100 pounds and then find out that you're pregnant, what it's been like to find out that you're pregnant when you're 40 years old. So if that interests you, go ahead and keep watching. Why have I not made a video about this until now? Because I am never alone. I'm never alone. I never have a minute alone. I'm covered in children 24/7. It's always really noisy. Now, when people say I'm pregnant and it was a surprise, I'm like, how? How did you accidentally get pregnant? Well, I will tell you how I accidentally got pregnant. Do you remember back when I started doing lots of fasting? I had just completed my second 72-hour water-only fast at the end of January. Well, I started it at the beginning of January. Now, if you didn't know this, fasting has incredible benefits for your hormones, hormone balancing, all sorts of things. And it has been known to really boost your fertility. Now, my husband also started doing these longer fasts. So for a few months, both of us would go from basically Saturday night until Monday afternoon with no food. So we were both really into this fasting lifestyle. Okay, you can see where this is going. Okay, I know that this angle is funny. I'm just trying to get to a quiet place where there's not a TV show going on in the background. Literally, I'm never alone. So my husband and I have always used some form of contraception. We are not just like, I'm a free spirit, but not that free of a spirit. I was not able to have an IUD placed after my third baby, and I had doctors try 3 different times. Yes, the pain of that. Unsuccessfully. So we had used something that we used at another time in our marriage called contraceptive foam, which is a spermicide. That's what we used every single time. But I think that all of the fasting created a super fertile environment or something. That is all I can say, because this was not planned. And this was not some accident of where it was like, oh, well, there was this one time. No, every single time contraception was used. And I already took a test and it already had a positive line. But that was a few days ago and I'm 40 years old. I'm just like still in shock. I'm having a hard time believing it. Of course, I want it to be true. So when I was at Walmart just getting like a couple essentials for dinner, I'm like, I'm just gonna grab like as fast as I could so that people couldn't see me like buying a pregnancy test. There's a digital, a 1-step, an early result, and then a cheap test. And it's the end of the day. My urine is probably diluted. I just feel like I've spent the last 3 years trying to convince myself that I'm okay to not have any more kids. And I have wanted another baby for a long time. I wanted another baby before I had weight loss surgery. And I didn't get pregnant, I didn't prevent, and I said, okay, God, I'm gonna go through and have this surgery, and we're just not gonna have any more kids. And a few months ago, I asked my husband, I'm like, will you please just pray about this? Like, I am so baby hungry. And then my friend had a baby right after Christmas, and I went and held that baby, and I was like, I want a baby so bad. But I would just tell myself, Stephanie, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's not gonna happen. Okay, we have the cheap test. A digital, 2 lines, and we have a plus. Oh my gosh. So, am I excited? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Is my husband excited? Yes. Is everybody excited? Yes. And the good news is that I've already had all the tests. I've had the blood test. I've had the genetic test. I've even had the gender test. I already know what I'm having. I'm not going to tell you here because we have not told my in-laws. And just in case anybody from my family watches, you got to keep that little secret for a couple more weeks. But I already had all the tests. Everything looks great. Such a blessing. Because I'm 40. Do not Google statistics of pregnancy when you're 40. It's not good. Your statistics go from like, you know, average to really, really, really scary. So thankfully, huge blessing. Everything looks great. Everything looks normal. My health looks great. My blood sugar looks great. This is why I have not made a video. One moment. So thankfully, everything, like I said, is looking great. The pregnancy is progressing great. Things look great. I'm almost 15 weeks and I'm finally feeling better. I have never been so sick. I have been very, very sick throughout my pregnancies, but I have never thrown up as much as I have thrown up this pregnancy. The level of fatigue and exhaustion was like a whole other level. The food aversions, 10 out of 10. Everything making me sick, 10 out of 10. The terrible taste in my mouth, 10 out of 10. Still, if I have anything that has any amount of sugar, I'm talking even like bread that has sugar in it or a sauce that has a little bit of sugar, it leaves a nasty taste in my mouth, and I just constantly brush my teeth. I have mints. It's not even worth it 98% of the time to have anything sweet. I'll still have something sweet every now and again, but it leaves the worst taste in my mouth. So luckily, I'm not really craving sweets. However, I have been craving salt, like I haven't had water in like days, and I'm just like so thirsty. So I have been craving potatoes, lots of salt. If you've watched any of my YouTube short videos, you usually will see like a French fry. I have air fried a lot of French fries and potatoes, and I do want to talk about diet, what my diet has been like, what it has been like to be pregnant after having weight loss surgery. So I do want to get more in depth into that. I'm just not going to do it in here because this angle is getting weirder and weirder. Okay, sound and lighting is going to be terrible in here, but let's try to talk about that. I'm going to go in depth. So if you don't want to hear about the food thing and the weight and all of that, then just skip ahead. Okay, so when I found out that I was pregnant, I had just finished my second 3-day water fast. And that left me feeling like I wanted to eat everything in sight. And this has happened both times I've done these long fasts. I have a history of binge eating disorder. And I know that with practice, the fasting is supposed to get easier. So like I could do a 40-hour fast, no problem. But those 3-day fasts, both times they messed with me after. I will be honest and say I think that it triggered a little bit of some old binging behaviors. And so whatever weight I lost during that time, like getting back to my lowest weight, I was just I hadn't really lost a ton of weight for a few months. I had maintained for a few months. And so when I do these water fasts, I'd kind of get to my lowest weight, and then I'd start eating, a little bit more and gain 3-4 pounds, kind of like my little range. So I was up at the higher end of my range, and then I felt like I was eating just like kind of like a unsatiable hunger, which was weird to me. And then I was falling asleep on the couch, which is very unusual for me. And then I was late. I did not suspect pregnancy until I was like 4 or 5 days late. And I'm like, I'm going to take a test. So I bought the test, and I was able to maintain good, healthy eating habits until I hit 6 weeks, which every time I've been pregnant, I hit about 6 weeks. And that is when I am hit with a tsunami of morning sickness. This is no different. Food aversions, strong. Cravings, strong for like random things. Nothing sounded good. Everything seemed to make me sick. And I started to experience pain almost every time I would eat. So I would eat and my stomach would just hurt. I would eat maybe 2 bites and just, my stomach would hurt. I felt so nauseous. I felt like I was just sucking on crackers a lot of the time. I found that peanut butter and bananas was a pretty solid, like good food. I always wanted spicy things, but then I felt like that would make me more sick. So from weeks 6 to 13, I was extremely miserable. I barely got out of bed. I got out of bed to take my kids my one kid to and from school. I skipped church. I skipped everything. I didn't teach piano lessons. I wasn't leaving my house. I wasn't going shopping. I was barely getting out of bed to try to go for a walk most days, which then turned into 0 days for about 4 weeks. Today has been the worst day so far. The nausea and the fatigue have like knocked me out, but it's about 3 o'clock, almost 3 o'clock. So the day's about half over. I'm gonna bust out my strength training video because that's just a goal. I feel like I'm gonna barf. Luckily, I just keep telling myself I'm older and wiser, and exercise is good for me for lots of reasons. I'm living on these mints. This is what happens when you're older and wiser. You put your shoes on and you go for a walk. Because that's what you do when you're older and wiser. I look like I'm 67 years old. What the heck? So what did I eat? I don't know. Whatever I could. Sometimes it was popcorn. Sometimes it was white bread with butter. Sometimes it was a small bowl of cereal. Sometimes it was meat. Sometimes it was Taco Bell. Whenever I did eat, I couldn't eat hardly anything. And I was throwing up pretty regularly. Not multiple times throughout the day. I never threw up more than once a day, but I mean, there were days where I threw up, I don't know, every couple days. So that was new for me. I never really threw up during my other pregnancies, maybe once or twice with the other pregnancy. So that was really hard. And yet I still managed to see the scale up, 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 up. I am not going to lie. That was stressful. Okay, I had just lost over 100 pounds. I was already beating myself up over the fact that I didn't reach my goal weight yet. Felt like a failure for not reaching my goal weight. I mean, I'm in therapy, and almost every therapy session was addressing the trauma and the reasons and all of the things that led to developing a binge eating disorder and why I had issues with food. And as I'm working so hard to fix those things, I wasn't really making progress on losing more weight. I was maintaining great, but I knew that in order for me to reach my goal weight, it was going to continue to take a lot of work. Now, some bariatric patients get so freaking skinny. Do you know what I mean? Some people get so skinny. You see it on TV, you see it on Instagram, you see it on YouTube. Some people get so skinny. I never got skinny. So if you're a bariatric patient and you never got skinny, you are not alone. I've seen people in my real life who got really, really skinny. I'm talking like skin and bone skinny. That didn't happen for me. And so I felt like a failure because I never really got skinny. I didn't even get to the smallest that I had ever been. I was like 20 pounds away from the smallest that I had ever been in my entire life. And yeah, is that discouraging? Yes. Yes, that is discouraging when you've had weight loss surgery. And what was I doing? I was blaming myself. So what am I doing now that I'm pregnant and I'm seeing the scale go up and up and up? I'm freaking blaming myself. So I know that that needs to stop. You know, the other day I just, for curiosity, I just had a normal day. I tracked my calories. I was barely over 1,000 calories. And yet I have put on, are you ready for this? Almost 18 pounds since the day I found out I was pregnant. You want to talk about depressing? That's depressing. I'm over here throwing up. I'm eating very small portions. Sometimes maybe a little bit bigger portion. Sometimes I'm eating out because that's the only thing that sounds good. But really, day after day after day after day, I'm not like going back to my old ways. There's no way. I still have enough restriction that I can get through one egg at a time. One egg, half a piece of bread if I have like a piece of my sourdough. I still cannot even eat an entire slice of pizza in one sitting. I have measured, I can have one small order of French fries at McDonald's, almost. Okay, so it's not a volume problem, but yet I'm blaming myself. I'm like, what's happening? What's happening? I mean, look at my body. I never got really skinny. Okay, there's still girth. There's still girth to me. Okay, I am not putting myself down by saying this. I'm being honest and very vulnerable and saying, in therapy, I'm working through calling myself a bariatric failure. So yeah, this pregnancy, is it messing with my mind? Am I going to have to continue working through that mentally? Absolutely. But I am making progress. And I have to logically step back and say, okay, Stephanie, you were fasting a lot. You were going at least once a week, 40 hours, where you were not consuming any food. You were 8 out of 10, like 80% of the time, eating a ketogenic diet. So what changed? Well, I laid in bed. I wasn't skiing every weekend. For a while, I wasn't even able to exercise. I just would lay in bed and like eat crackers and white bread with butter. Sometimes maybe something spicy, maybe a taco, maybe a bite of pizza. I mean, not eating healthy, not really, but you know what? That's what I was doing. So eating more carbs, eating more processed foods, eating more carbs, fats, salts, like together in one food. And I wasn't fasting anymore because they told me not to fast. So it's hard. I feel bigger. I feel like I look a lot bigger, and that has been really hard. That is the facts of getting pregnant after you've had weight loss surgery. And I had not reached my goal. I got pregnant at 17 months post-op. They tell you to wait until you're about 1.5 years out, ideally. So I felt like I was still on my weight loss journey. Now, am I going to be able to get through this pregnancy, get back to where I was? Absolutely. I have 1,000% confidence in myself that I'm going to be able to pick up where I left off. I know that I will never end up where I was before. But yeah, it's messing with my mind. It is hard. And I have to be honest about that. It's been really hard. So just a few other little updates about the pregnancy. Yes, I'm 40, so I have to see the high-risk doctors. My last pregnancy was an emergency C-section. So am I going to be able to have a VBAC? Hopefully. They're very optimistic about that. But I have to see more doctors because I've had weight loss surgery. So I had to go see maternal fetal medicine specialists. I've had more ultrasounds. I've done all the genetic testing, and thankfully everything is looking great. But yeah, they're still going to have to check the baby's growth and make sure that the baby is growing. So I'll have those updates as well. Haven't had to deal with that before. Before my other pregnancies, I didn't really have the pain in my stomach when I would eat. Luckily, after having bariatric surgery, not to be graphic, but when you throw up, it's a lot less dramatic. It's not as bad. So the next, I guess, phase of this is, what's my plan moving forward? I am not able to sit down and make videos. I am not able to make as many cooking videos, recipe videos. I homeschool my son. I have 2 kids on the autism spectrum. That means lots of appointments, therapy appointments, lots going on. Now I have my own appointments. I feel like doctor's appointments and specialist appointments and therapy appointments is my part-time job. Add into the mix that my husband is a full-time graduate student finishing his psychiatric nurse practitioner degree. And come June, he will be doing clinical hours and also working. So what does that mean for my channel? What that means is that if you want to keep up with me, I'm probably only going to be able to continue to post my YouTube short videos. I really like making those. I think they're fun. They're a lot easier for me to make. And so I hope that you'll continue to follow me through those YouTube shorts. I would love to make longer sit down videos like I have, managed to make over the years, but I just can't. I am not in that season of life, and this has always been just a hobby for me. I've never made a cent for this. That has never been the goal. When I started this YouTube channel, it was with all of my little fun Weight Watchers friends, and we would count our smart points and our points plus and share our little, 10-point dinners and recipes. And, I treasure those friends that I've made. I still am in touch with a few of those friends, and they still cheer for me and I still cheer for them. And I totally treasure that. But the world of YouTube is it's a lot different now. And, so I haven't ever really had a channel that's like really grown, and I've never really made that a priority for me. But I do still want to share and talk about what it's like to have weight loss surgery, then get pregnant, what it's like to be a geriatric old pregnant lady at age 40. I'm excited to share that. I know that those videos could be useful, and it's fun for me to share and document and get on and chat about all of these things. So I still want to keep my YouTube channel, but you're probably gonna see more YouTube shorts from me. So that's kind of the plan moving forward. My husband is gonna be going down to part-time starting in June. So for 15, 16 months, we're going to be having our income cut in half, which means I'm probably gonna be a lot more focused on the budgeting and like how to save money and penny pinching and all of that, which is something I focused on for a little while. I was sharing our debt-free journey for a while. I've shared lots of different things on this channel. I don't think any YouTuber ever just sticks to one thing that they talk about. Our lives change. We evolve as people. Once people become moms, a lot of their content naturally kind of goes into motherhood. Once they, maybe buy their first home, then they're more interested in organizing and cooking, and, people evolve and change, and that's exactly what has happened to me. When I started this channel, I had 1 child. I have had 2 more, and now I'm having my 4th baby. And so there's just naturally going to be different things in different seasons of people's lives that they want to share, but always the main focus will always be, my journey to healing my relationship with food and understanding why I developed a binge eating disorder and how I ballooned to almost 300 pounds and why that happened to me, and talking about that. So those sorts of things can't happen in a YouTube short. So I do plan to share a little bit, more in depth like this kind of video. So I hope that you will stick with me through this journey. I feel like the people that have been here all these years are like very special friends to me. So thank you so much for all of your love and support. And with that, I guess there's nothing else left to say. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.